This is the most important factor when you're thinking about buying your gun or progressing up in the world of guns. Welcome back to the shooting channel, and welcome back to an episode that I'm going to talk to you about gun fit. I've watched a few films on YouTube, and I do believe that gun fit isn't really touched that much. A lot of people, especially sort of high-end brands, game shooting wise, they try and convince you to go over to their factory to get a gun fitted for you to go and shoot better. You don't need that. The only time that you really need to get a gun absolutely fitted by the factory and a stock is when you're shooting an Olympic trap or Olympic skeet. For sporting or game shooting, 95% of guns off the shelf will fit somebody out there. And this is where my saying comes: find your local shooting school that's got a range of guns, selection to sell, and they backed up by their selection of demo guns. Book yourself a lesson and go and find a gun off the shelf that fits you. And you can, whether you want to spend £600 or £10,000. Most gun shooting schools will help you and get that gun fitted to you. And this is where gun shops cannot do this job and finish this job particularly well. Shooting schools has to be, because you go to that shooting school and everyone talks about pattern plates. Now, pattern plates have their place and they don't have their place. If you want to tell me I'm going to be an Olympic champion, I want to pattern my gun absolutely spot on, yes, a pattern plate you will need to go. But generally, for sporting and game shooting, even top-end sporting, you can pattern your gun on a basic incoming target, like a sitting dustbin lid or crow. And you can make that gun fit you. The most important thing when it comes to gun fit, for game shooting and for sporting, again, we're going to leave the Olympic side out, because that to me is the pinnacle of our sport, and that is where the professionality comes. So even if you want to be a AAA shot in sporting and win the British Open, you can do it with a gun that's off the shelf. If you want to go down the Olympic route, then that is a slightly different, and you will need to have stocks built, guns built, exactly the specification to what you need to win that top end medal. So the first thing that you will look at when you come to buy your gun and get a gun fitted is the instructor will look at your size, and they will ask you what you want to do with that gun. They will ask you what you want to do and where you want to take your shooting, whether you want to stay as just club level or whether you want to go to top end sporting. And they will ask you where you want to go. And they will also ask you how much money you want to spend. I've got 3 different guns here, all starting from a second-hand Browning, which you can pick up from about £1,000, a Yieldits Pro, which starts at about £1,500, £1,800, and I've got a Blaser F3, which is about 9 or 10 grand. They will all suit somebody, and they will all go to that top end, depending on what the shooter is behind it. Now, the biggest thing you want to be looking at is A, the stock length, and B, the stock height. The most important thing. Now, the biggest thing that people can't get is, and I say on here, everyone says I bung on about stock height more than stock length, because you can get away with stock length. You can't get away with stock height. So that's called the comb, and this is called the toe and the heel. And that measurement there is the most important measurement. Your head should be 3 fingers away from that comb. When I look down the end of this gun, I should be able to see the eyeball just rising above that rib. So if I mount the gun into the camera, so I'm put my head onto that gun, my eyebrows are level. You don't want to be seeing this because I'm looking here. You don't want to be seeing this because my eye is behind here. So the whole idea is for you to see that eye over that rib, and your cheekbone and your cheek there. So again, if I mount the Browning, it's slightly higher in the comb, so my eye is here and not behind here. Now that to me is the most important thing that you can do. And in this day and age, you can have an adjustable comb. And you don't need an adjustable comb. As I say, even don't need a left-handed gun. Cast on and cast off is what you need. Cast is the bending of the stock to put your eye over the top of that rib. Fairly simple. And that is, everyone gets so complicated when it comes to cast. And just remember, all you're trying to do when it comes to cast is bending that stock to the left or bending that stock to the right. And it's called cast on or cast off. And it's basically, so if I mount this gun and my eye is here, then I can give me a bit more cast and I can put my eye over the top of that rib. And that is the most important thing that you want to be thinking about. Don't have to buy an adjustable comb. There's enough guns on the shelf of a proper shooting school to be able to get that stock that fits that angle to everyone. If you do want to go up a value, you can get something like the Blaser F3 or the Browning XS or maybe a Beretta 694 with an adjustable comb. And the adjustable combs, and I'm just going to take this one off, I'll get the key. You can do cast on an adjustable comb. So if I take this off, so I take the comb off there. And then if you look at that, you can adjust the cast by adjusting the forks on the pieces. And this is what you're paying the extra money for. So I can put that in there. And I can move these I can move them left or right depending where I want my eye for the customer over the top of that rib. So that is the good thing about having an adjustable comb. So as well as adjusting it up and down, I can adjust it left or right. And then you can put that back up and you can high it or low it to wherever you want it to be, depending on the cheekbone and how high and low the cheekbone and the jawbone is. So I'm just going to set this up. And again, this is where, when you buy yourself a gun, this is why I say, go to your local shooting school that has got a large range of sale guns and demo guns. Go to your local shooting school. Don't go to your gun shop, because this is the sort of thing you can do. You can try guns in, and we have at Oxford and at Austin, they have a try gun, but you don't necessarily need one. You can try the gun, you can fit them with the demo guns, you can go out into the shooting school, and then my first thing I would do is take the client to an incomer, and I would make sure they can hit that incomer until they can smoke it. If you can't, if you chip it, generally the gun isn't quite right for you. So you should be able to smoke that incomer, just literally hold the gun there at the top of its arc, smoke that incomer before you do anything else. And that is how you do it. And I'm going to go through now, and I'm going to take the Yieldits Pro, the Browning and the Blaser, and just show you the difference that you can do just by changing the gun by smoking or chipping an incomer. If anyone has got any questions about gun fit, I'd love to hear your views on what you think is gun fit and what you think I have said in this film. Please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Right, so I'm going to take some Fiocchi 21 grams, and I'm just going to use a little basic incomer just to show you how to smoke that incomer depending on whether the gun fits or not. Once I've done the initial gun fit, going through 7 or 8 guns, 9 guns, making sure they're standing correctly in the gun room, you would then bring the client out and you would pick a nice sitting dustbin lid like this one. Pull. So I'm going to shoot it as it reaches the top of the arc. So the first thing I would do is I'm going to take the Yieldits Pro, which I know is a little bit low in the comb for me, and then I'm going to take the Browning, which is a lot higher. I'm going to be honest, it's better off to be slightly higher in the comb than it is lower in the comb, because you will get away with it. If the gun is too low, you would have to lift your head to be able to see over the top of that rib. So again, it's better off to be perfect. You should be able to put a pound coin there and you should be able to see just above that rib, or the whole of the eye above that rib. Mount this gun and I'm going to shoot that incomer. Pull. So again, if you saw on that particular target, I didn't smoke it. I killed it, but I didn't absolutely smoke it. And I would have felt that I didn't feel comfortable in putting my head right onto that gun where I felt it. I had to keep it up a little bit. So let's do it again. So as on these gun reviews, as I've learned now, I've shot so many different guns on gun reviews, I've actually learned how to actually cheat to hit clays with a gun that doesn't actually fit me. But in your case, you want to have one gun that you've got absolutely confidence in, that when you touch that cheek, you know that the gun is going to be looking and shooting where you're shooting, or where you're looking. So this is what we're trying to achieve. Pull. So I've done a couple of singles. Now I would do a pair of that same incomer, because so you know, again, when you shot the first one, generally, and this is why I use 21 grams or 24 grams, something nice and soft, because when the first barrel goes off, the recoil will judge the head. So you've got to make sure that you've got a smooth cartridge, so you know that that gun shoots right on both the first and the second barrel. Pull. 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 And the other thing is, take note to the weight. Again, the biggest thing that I hear, especially with ladies and children, is everyone says, oh, you're a lady, you're a kid, you need the lightest gun. You don't necessarily need the lightest gun. You need the heaviest gun that you can handle and the softest cartridge. And this, again, this is where trying 2 or 3 different guns really helps and benefits the customer or the end user that's buying that gun. So I'm now going to try the Browning. Pull. Pull. So again, if you look there, my head was spot on and I smoked the clay. So that will tell me that the gun fits me in my cheek exactly perfect. Pull. Pull. Again, the first one, my head wasn't quite on that wood. If you looked, so I chipped it. Second one, I put my head on that wood and the gun was smoke, or the clay was smoke. They've all got the same chokes, all 3 guns. Pull. 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 So again, if you looked, my head was tight on that gun, didn't move. And then I'm going to use the blazer with the adjustable comb. So again, I have set that up slightly higher to what I would normally have. Pull. 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 So again, if you look at how my head touches the gun, depending on how that is smoked. And that is the most important thing that you can have. And don't get me wrong, it is lovely to go to Italy and have a gun built to your spec. If you want to do that, you can do. But you haven't got to have it fitted. So you can go to Italy, pick the wood, pick that, come back and have it fitted. There is lots of people that say they can do a gun fit in a gun shop or at a show or something like that. They can't. The only place you will do that gun fit is on a shooting school with the way I'm doing it here. Either with a target, like an incomer, or a pattern plate if you really want to get. But most people, you don't necessarily need to get that technical with a pattern plate. Pull. 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 That is how I would go about fitting a gun to somebody that doesn't necessarily want to go to the Olympic Games, that wants to get a good level of shooting and a good level of experience under their belt. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this answers all your questions about getting a gun fit, either for your first gun or for your ultimate gun. So once you've gone down and had 2 or 3 different guns, and then you want to get, you're thinking to yourself, I really want to buy a nice gun, I really want to buy a nice flash gun. Don't be pushed in to going and getting something fitted when you don't necessarily need to. Go and get a nice gun from Italy or Turkey or England or wherever, but make sure that that person that fits it has got experience in how to do it. I hope you've enjoyed this programme. Please comment below on anything you feel that I have missed. I hope you enjoyed it. Go onto the website for your latest merchandise discount, or the SWATCOM website for the TSC10 for their discount. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Don't forget, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us to give you content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.